The steppes of Mongolia whisper his name. Genghis Khan, a name synonymous with conquest, with power. But this name, etched in history as a mark of triumph, casts a long, dark shadow. A shadow filled with the cries of the vanquished, the lamentations of the lost. This is not the story of a glorious rise. This is the exploration of a brutal truth, a descent into the heart of an empire built on suffering. We look beyond the battlefield victories, past the chronicles penned by court historians. We seek the echoes of terror, the whispers of anguish, the indelible stains of unimaginable cruelty. For to understand Genghis Khan, one must understand not just his ambition, but the price others paid for it. Join me not in celebrating a conqueror, but in bearing witness to the human cost of an empire. Let us uncover the true legacy of Genghis Khan, a legacy woven not in gold, but in the fabric of suffering. Before the world trembled before the Mongol war machine, Genghis Khan, born Temujin, faced enemies within. Mongolian tribes, fractured and feuding, were his first conquest. His rise to power, a symphony of violence, began in the steppes. Rivals were crushed, their followers absorbed into his ranks. Blood flowed, a grim offering to the god of unity. Mercy was a luxury Temujin could not afford. Every tribe subjugated, every chieftain slain, strengthened his grip. He understood fear, wielded it like a blade. Those who resisted, who clung to old allegiances, were made examples of. Their fates served as stark warnings, their suffering the foundation upon which he built his power. From the ashes of internecine conflict, Genghis Khan emerged. But the fires of ambition, fueled by the blood of his own people, were just beginning to ignite. The world would soon learn the true meaning of Mongol unity, a unity forged in the fires of unimaginable brutality. Genghis Khan understood the power of fear. It was a weapon sharper than any sword, more effective than any siege engine. He honed it, mastered it, and unleashed it upon his enemies. Tales of Mongol ferocity preceded them, whispered from city to city, striking terror into the hearts of men. Surrender often meant survival. Defiance, however, invited annihilation. Entire cities, refusing to yield, were put to the sword, their populations massacred, their buildings razed. These acts were not mere cruelty, but calculated displays of terror designed to break the will of future foes. This was psychological warfare at its most effective. The legend of Mongol brutality became its own weapon, paralyzing resistance before it even began. Genghis Khan's true genius lay not just in his military prowess, but in his understanding of the human psyche and its breaking point. The Khwarezmian Empire, vast and prosperous, learned the price of defiance. Its Shah, blinded by pride, rejected Genghis Khan's offer of trade and peaceful coexistence. It was a fatal miscalculation. The Mongol horde, unleashed, swept across Central Asia, a tide of fury leaving devastation in its wake. Cities like Samarkand and Bukhara, jewels of the Islamic world, were transformed into charnel houses. Libraries burned, scholars were slaughtered, the legacy of centuries extinguished in an inferno of violence. The siege of Urgench, a city that dared to resist, became a byword for Mongol brutality. The Khwarezmian Empire, once a beacon of civilization, was shattered. Its cities lay in ruins, its people scattered. The message was clear. Resistance to the Khan was not just futile, it was suicidal. Section 5. Whispers of Carnage. Tales from the Invaded. History books tell of battles won, of empires toppled, but they seldom capture the human cost of such victories. To truly understand the dark side of Genghis Khan's reign, we must listen to the whispers of the conquered, the stories etched in the collective memory of the vanquished. Take the account of Ibn al-Athir, a historian who witnessed the Mongol advance. He writes of pyramids of skulls, of rivers choked with corpses, of once fertile lands transformed into desolate wastelands. His words, stark and chilling, paint a picture of unimaginable horror. These were not isolated incidents. From the steppes of Asia to the edges of Europe, similar stories abound. Tales of mass executions, of women raped and enslaved, of entire populations decimated. These are the whispers that haunt the legacy of Genghis Khan, the voices the victors could not silence. Section 6. The Inheritance of Fear. Life under the Mongol yoke. The Mongol Empire, vast and sprawling, was built on the backs of the conquered. For those who survived the initial onslaught, life under Mongol rule was a precarious balancing act, a daily struggle for survival in the shadow of tyranny. The Pax Mongolica, often touted as an era of peace and prosperity, rang hollow for the subjugated. They endured crushing taxes, faced religious persecution, and lived with the constant threat of violence. The whisper of dissent was enough to invite the wrath of their Mongol overlords. Generations grew up under the Mongol yoke, their lives shaped by fear and obedience. The psychological impact of this subjugation ran deep, leaving an indelible mark on the cultures and psyches of the conquered. The true legacy of Genghis Khan's empire was not just territorial expansion, but the pervasive climate of fear that permeated every aspect of life. Section 7. A legacy tarnished, the true cost of empire. History written by the victors often glorifies conquest, but the legacy of Genghis Khan, when stripped of its romanticized veneer, is one of unimaginable suffering. Millions perished in his relentless pursuit of empire, their deaths a testament to the insatiable hunger for power. Yes, he unified Mongolia, forged an empire that stretched across continents, but at what cost? Entire civilizations were decimated, their cultures and knowledge lost forever. The environmental impact of his conquests was devastating, with widespread deforestation and the creation of vast, uninhabitable wastelands. Genghis Khan's story is a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the grandest of ambitions can be built upon a foundation of unimaginable cruelty. It compels us to look beyond the narratives of triumph and confront the human cost of empire. Section 8. Beyond the battlefield, the unseen scars. The true horrors of Genghis Khan's reign extend beyond the battlefield carnage. The psychological scars inflicted on generations, the cultural devastation, the societal upheavals, these are the invisible wounds that festered long after the swords were sheathed. The forced displacement of populations, the systematic rape and enslavement of women, the destruction of religious and cultural artifacts. These acts of barbarity ripped apart the very fabric of societies. The trauma echoed through generations, leaving an indelible mark on the collective psyche of the conquered. Genghis Khan's legacy is a stark reminder that the true cost of war extends far beyond the immediate body count. It is in the shattered lives, the silenced voices, the enduring trauma that we truly grasp the devastating impact of his reign. Section 9. Remembering the Khan history's warning sign, Genghis Khan. His name still echoes across the steppes, a whisper of power, a spectre of brutality. He is both revered and reviled, his legacy a complex tapestry of brilliance and barbarity. But as we grapple with his memory, one thing must be clear. We must not romanticize his conquests. To remember Genghis Khan is not to celebrate him, it is to confront the darkness within human ambition, to acknowledge the seductive allure of power and its potential to corrupt even the most brilliant of minds. His story is a stark reminder that the pursuit of power, unchecked by compassion and morality, can lead to unimaginable suffering. Let us remember Genghis Khan, not as a hero, but as a warning sign. Let his story serve as a timeless reminder of the fragility of peace, the importance of empathy, and the eternal vigilance required to prevent the resurgence of such dark